A lot of people don't realize that the Pope was actually a crossing guard.
What?
Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't realize that some of the best cuckoo clocks are actually the male ones. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says Christmas like a pigeon-toed Santa. Come on down to the flea market. Not a lot of people remember the nursery rhyme about the bowl full of cardinals, but it's a classic. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't remember that one of the most famous fairies was the funeral urn fairy. Come on down to the flea market. They said you couldn't combine a cow, a kid stuffed toy, and a thimble necklace. They were wrong. Come on down to the flea market. Some of the most famous totem poles were actually made out of pigs. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't realize that the original three wise men were actually corn, potato, and frog. Come on down to the flea market. When you think of salt and pepper shakers, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is pineapples. Come on down to the flea market. Stand still, Pocahontas. This won't hurt a bit. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't remember that one of Rodin's most famous sculptures was Finger-Eating Baby. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't remember the lean years at Christmas. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't remember that day that Buddha was caught robbing the bank. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing cheers children up quite like cute mice. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says Thanksgiving like a hippie mouse and a cornucopia. Come on down to the flea market. You know, always remember the key to a really good children's toy is happy, shiny faces. Come on down to the flea market. Everyone remembers Puss in Boots, but do you remember the cat clown playing a violin known as Jazzy Puss? Come on down to the flea market. You know, if you want to make sure that a kid is all cheered up for their first photograph, you got to make sure you put a big blue bow on them. Come on down to the flea market. And then the angel came down and said unto them, check out this bird. Come on down to the flea market. They said you couldn't combine Cool Moon, citrus, and cola. They were wrong. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't realize that once Gabriel retired as an angel, he put on a French beret and started painting. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says Thanksgiving like a black bear holding a basket full of apples. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't remember Superman's awkward teen years. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says something like this guy, except for maybe this guy. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people didn't want to accept the bird housing crisis, but someone finally came up with a solution. Tenement birdhouses. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't remember Humpty Dumpty's classic plaid years. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people thought that Margaret Thatcher was crazy for commissioning the piece, but in the end, she was really happy with the results. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says Thanksgiving like a bear wearing spectacles and a pilgrim hat. Come on down to the flea market. It took some time and a lot of hard work, but Ben finally earned his Cub Scout canoe hat. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says the Old West quite like John Wayne painted on black velvet. Come on down to the flea market. You know, when you think Amish, you usually think millionaire. Come on down to the flea market. You know you're rich when your saw rack is finally full. Come on down to the flea market. You know, say what you will about Charlie from Starkist, but, you know, he made a lot of good money on those ads. Come on down to the flea market. Everyone remembers Kermit the Frog, but do you know about his cousin, Jeffrey, the sewing frog? Come on down to the flea market. When Jesus was born, he received a lot of amazing visitors, but none more famous than the giant gray poodle. Come on down to the flea market. They said you couldn't combine a stuffed dog, plaid, and jaundice. They were wrong. Come on down to the flea market. Just a reminder to all you witches out there, don't forget about leg day. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says cheese grater quite like a little Dutch girl. Come on down to the flea market. When you're stressed, nothing will calm you down more than this stress doll. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says Christmas like a raccoon driving a Volkswagen bus. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't remember the time that Santa Claus decided to hang it all up and become a prospector. Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people don't remember the series of PSAs that Santa did on being safe around wood-burning stoves. Come on down to the flea market. They said you couldn't combine a dog with measles, a butler outfit, and a child's pull toy. They were wrong. Come on down to the flea market. Everyone knows the best advent calendars are made out of a giant plate of tin. Come on down to the flea market. They said you couldn't combine a Christmas tree with burlap, musical notes, and buttons. They were wrong. Come on down to the flea market. Poor Alice came back from the war a changed person. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing cheers kids up more than a pink jester elf. Come on down to the flea market. Santa Claus was very understanding when Mrs. Claus bleached his outfit. Happens to the best of us. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says Christmas like this classic snowman. Come on down to the flea market. Just remember, kids, be careful where you swing those drumsticks. Come on down to the flea market. Nothing says Halloween like a jack-o'-lantern in a green coat carrying a crow and a mouse in its pocket. Come on down to the flea market. Just remember, kids, all the best deer hoof lamps have 4 hooves. Always keep an eye out. Come on down to the flea market. When I think of Santa Claus, I always think of him in his green coat carrying his pet goose. Come on down to the flea market. Just remember, the best way to display children's clothing is with a headless mannequin. Come on down to the flea market. Everyone knows all the best movie theaters had camouflage seating. Come on down to the flea market. They said you couldn't combine a mermaid, Pegasus, and a unicorn. They were wrong. Come on down to the flea market. Who can forget that famous kids game, Uncle Wiggily?
I know. Choose the ladders.
Come on down to the flea market. Who can ever forget that classic Christmas character, Isabel, the Christmas mouse? Come on down to the flea market. A lot of people remember that Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, but what they don't remember is that with him was his favorite log decorated with flowers. Come on down to the flea market. They said coffee mugs couldn't be inspiring. They were wrong. Come on down to the flea market.